Hey everybody, Mikeycat Outdoors here. So what are we doing today? Well, I got a Jackery 1000 power station, a couple of 100-watt solar panels hooked up to Jackery, and got a little DC powered refrigerator freezer unit plugged into that. I'm just kind of doing a real world science experiment. My wife's uncle is going on a trip for about 10 days to somewhere in Texas, New Mexico area, Rio Grande, and he's got a CPAP machine. I think it runs about 60 watts, so he had a little setup. It seemed kind of inadequate, so I just wanted to do a little bit of a power test and some different real world examples, see if what I've got will work for him. So let's check it out. Alright, so I got a couple of Solar Saga 100 panels here from Jackery, and I got a parallel adapter that plugs into the input port of the Jackery 1000 up there on the porch. Next to that I got an Iceco Go 20, things like a 23-liter freezer slash refrigerator. It's got 2 compartments inside. I run it on DC mode, which isn't exactly how my wife's uncle is going to be powering his stuff. I think his CPAP's going to be running through a AC adapter, but since Jackery also has AC output, I just wanted to see, how this would kind of stand up. Today it's fairly overcast, so we're not producing a whole lot of solar power coming in. I did have a little ray of light probably 10 minutes ago. It jumped up pretty good for a while, but it's since back down. So here we are currently. We've got about 24 input watts of power coming in off of this very cloudy day. The freezer right now, since we just started it up, it's really trying to crank the power to cool it down. So it's drawing a bunch of power right now. It's not even in eco mode, so it's running about 70 watts. Normally, put that freezer in eco mode, it's been running a while, it'll be like 33 watts, maybe a peak of 50. So having it in its normal mode and in the real cooly mode right now, we're getting maximum power draw. So that's a little closer to probably what I would expect that CPAP machine to run with the 60 watt adapter that it has with it. So I've already used 1% of my power. Obviously I'm drawing more than what I'm bringing in at the moment, but in the southwest I imagine it'd be a lot more light. As long as they have sunny days, it should be more than sufficient to keep this thing charged up overnight. He was running a 160 watt hour battery bank, and he had a little 60 watt solar panel, and he somehow got a night and a half out of it. I don't know how he got that lucky, but now, maybe he wasn't running with the humidifier and other stuff on the CPAP. Could have been running a low power, like 30 watts, but still amazes me he got that long out of it. This Jackery here, this is my middle ranged unit. It's got about 1,000 watt hours of power, and I mean, I could run that refrigerator right there for more than a day, probably about 2 days on it. So I ran it one time and it was only down to like 50%, and I ran it for 24 hours, so it's pretty good. So the Iceco Go 20 here, I got the left side set, I think, to 25 degrees, and the right side I think I had set to like 33. So they're cooling down. They were at roughly 78 just a little bit ago, so they're cooling down pretty good already. Got this little reflective cover option, and as you can see, it's a 2-zone unit. You can pop that center divider out, make it all one temperature control unit. It's like a refrigerator or a freezer, so it's a nice unit. Not too heavy, fairly energy efficient when you put it on eco mode, and works fairly well. Yeah, you can see it's definitely not a bright sunny day outside. So I figured this would be a worst case example. Find out minimum amount of power that those solar panels would provide on a really crappy day. On a sunny day, it won't be a problem. But if you get an overcast day, you want to figure out roughly, where your parameters are going to be for power usage and power production. One thing I will note though about these solar Sagas, Jackery says they are not supposed to be submerged in the rain. I know, kind of interesting why you'd build a solar panel that couldn't handle the outside weather. Yeah. But the electronics are on the underside, little pouch in there, you could zip it up and whatnot. But these are SunPower solar cells. They're pretty good efficiency, probably 23% efficiency on them. They fold up real nice, they're lightweight, it's not too bad. Just starting to sprinkle just very, very light little misting drops every once in a while here, but if it starts downpouring, I'll bring these underneath the overhang of the house and won't have to worry about it. Yeah, I just wanted to show you the underside of these solar Saga panels. So where the cable comes in, there's actually a USB and the USB-C port there. That's what it looks like. Haven't plugged into them yet. And then you got these little kickstands that fold out. And you kind of see one right there. This has got some little webbing and whatnot, and it velcros down to the bottom of the unit. So you can just pop those in and then fold this unit in half and store it away pretty easily. Oh, you're sick of the grasshopper, huh? Oh, grasshopper, you teach you a lesson. You impatient one. You eat grasshopper, you throw up. Now, one thing that will differ is the output power on this refrigerator, because of the compressor, will go up and down quite a bit. As you can see, compressor just kicked on, so we went from 2 to 7 to 36 watts of output with just a few seconds. Input power, we're not drawing in that much from the cloudy sky. 20 watts, so roughly 10 watts per panel. I know when I plugged the first one in, I was getting like 15, and then when I plugged the second, I was getting like 30, and that's when it was a little sunnier out. But then when the sun came out, yeah, it came out real bright for a minute and had over 100 watts, and didn't have my video ready at the time, but well, the CPAP machine's going to be a probably more steady power draw over the life of the night. Probably, I'm going to guess, anywhere from 30 to 60 watts, and therefore, whatever you're bringing in the daytime is going to have to at least match or exceed that, so that you don't draw down on the battery life too much. Awesome, we got a little bit of sunlight at the moment. So the compressor's off. Oh yeah, kitty, photobomb me. So we're getting about 50 watts roughly of input power, and the compressor's off at the moment, so only sucking a watt of power. So you can see a little bit of a difference that sunlight makes. It's not the best sunlight in the world, but I'll take it. Yeah, now we're cooking with peanut oil. About 100 watts of input power. Compressor's on, we're using about 55 watts on average, so you can see a big difference that the sunlight makes. And that's a nice, bright, sunny area of sky up there, so that's not too bad. So you can see they're getting a good amount of sunlight on them right now. And that's what you want. So on a bright sunny day, wouldn't have any problem at all keeping this sucker charged up. On a really rainy, overcast day where you don't have much sunlight or none at all, yeah, you still produce a little, but you ain't gonna produce a whole lot, as you can see from the previous few clips that I took here. Keeps getting better. 120 watts of input power. So one thing about a solar panel, you will never, from what I've seen, unless you're way out in the desert somewhere on a super clear sky, you probably aren't going to get too close to the peak wattage that the solar panel is rated for. So if you have a 100 watt panel, it's going to be rare that you're going to really produce 100 watts with it, unless you're in best case conditions. If you get 75 watts out of it, you'd be pretty dang good. So like here right now, 120, divided between 2 panels, we're getting what, roughly 60 watts per panel on a 100 watt panel. So that's not too bad. At 50 to 75% is probably a realistic range of what you're going to produce on any PV system that you've got coming in. And then of course with this refrigerator, like I said, the wattage that it's sucking down is going on and off, just depending on the compressor. And yeah, if you got something that's constant low like CPAP, it's just going to be a steady draw. So just kind of depends what your application is and what you think you're going to get out of it over a night. You just do some power calculations and figure out what size of power bank and solar panels and stuff are right for you, and yeah, you figure it out. So excuse the noise, I'm out here in my nut hut looking at the box, and the unit weighs a little bit over 22 pounds, 10 kilos. It's got 24 volt DC input, supports 12 to 30 volt input from solar panels and whatnot. It's got 3 AC outputs, 2 USB-Cs, got some USB-A, 24-month warranty, roughly 1,000 watt hours or so. Looks like you got a 2,000 watt surge peak that this will momentarily put out for you if you got startup current on something. And Qualcomm quick charge, all that good stuff for USB-C. There's a guy on the box powering his unit with a couple of solar Saga panels out in the snow. That's quaint. But yeah, just kind of show you what the box specifications state here, and we'll go back outside and continue charging up and see how we do over time. Yeah, I've been running this for maybe an hour now. We went down to 98% at one point when we weren't producing much power, and now that we got the sun out, we're cranking up. We're back up to 99%, and the sun's waning a little, so the power's starting to come down again. But you know, you'll wax and wane a little bit. But bright sunny days, you'd be doing pretty good. So I got a nice frosty step 2 in the fridge here. A little Canada Dry, since I don't drink alcohol. But anybody out there that watches any Canadians on YouTube, hunker down and grab yourself a step 2. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Well, everybody, it's sprinkling, so I'm gonna wrap this up pretty quick. Yeah, if you're running a CPAP or something, you probably want at least a 500 watt hour battery bank. 1,000 watt hour would probably be better, just give you more lifespan. Really depends, you know, how far in you're going away from your vehicle and whatnot. In case of my wife's uncle, he's going to be near the vehicle, so he doesn't have too far to walk with it. Solar panels, there too, you want at least 100 watts, probably 200's better, just because you aren't going to get peak efficiency on your panels unless you're like way out in the desert or something. So in this case, I'm going to loan him the 1,000 watt hour unit and 200 watt panels, and that should be more than sufficient for his needs. He could probably get away with a 500 watt hour and 100 watt panel, but you know, he wants to charge up his iPad and his phone, and he might have buddies wanting to charge up stuff too. He's going to be out there for about 11 days, so it's probably good to have extra capacity. So that's something to keep in mind. If you guys are thinking about power banks or solar panels, you know, what you're going to use them for, and you know, you just do the math, figure it out, and put some margins of error in there, you know, in case of cloudy days and whatnot and inefficiencies, and go forth from there. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed what you've seen, and feel free to give me a thumbs up unless you're in Saudi Arabia. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and catch you again in the outdoors, hopefully when it's not raining. As always, thanks for watching.